Hey, Danny here with PT Biz, and we are in Knoxville, Tennessee, checking out Shift Performance Therapy with Blake Bohanan. He's had a hell of a time getting into this space, lots of growing pains, lots of construction struggles, something I think you guys are gonna really learn a lot from. So let's go in, let's check it out and show you what he's working with. All right, back again. Hey, Shift Performance Therapy here in Knoxville, Tennessee. We got Blake Bohanan. This is his new build. He's been here for a couple months. We'll get into his story. I know it's been a pain in the ass. And sometimes that happens whenever we build out a facility and we're trying to expand. But tell me a little bit about this space. How long have you guys been here?
We've been here for like 3 months so far.
Yeah.
And it's been awesome being able to treat patients in our own space.
Yeah.
And just not like working in and out with somebody else's business.
Yeah.
Right?
And before that, you were in a CrossFit gym?
I've been in 2 CrossFit gyms, a functional training facility, and a kickboxing Krav Maga studio.
Whoa.
So far.
Oh, over how many years? 4 spaces?
3 years?
3 years, 4 spaces?
To this point, yeah.
That's a lot of moves.
Yeah.
For on the business side, and we can talk about the space here in a second, but has that been one of the hardest parts, is just like actually trying to grow?
Yeah.
Get into a space?
I think, honestly, mentally, I think the hardest part was being at a place where we could hire a provider for probably 8 months.
Yeah.
And just waiting on having the space to hire them.
Yeah.
And so like mentally knowing that I couldn't grow and kind of just being like right there for a long time, and then finally being able to take breaks off a little bit.
So you had the volume, but not the space.
Right.
Let's look at the actual build out, because how many square feet is this?
Like 1,200-ish.
Okay, so 1,200, you can be pretty efficient with 1,200 square feet. You're doing a lot of like open space, functional movements.
Right. With folks. We do a ton of movement coaching. So we got full set of dumbbells, kettlebells.
For 1,200 square feet, you guys hacked a lot of gym equipment.
Yeah, we did. We do a lot of like flyweight stuff, and kettlebell, dumbbell stuff is going to be in here. So like movement coaching, and we deadlift right here mostly, that kind of stuff. And of course, we've got squat rack, a bench. We'll pull the bench over here and do rows, presses, anything like that where we want to use the bench. It's over here a lot of the day.
Yeah.
And then we're squatting right there. Me and Mason, our other PT, are treating at the same time. A lot of times one of us is kind of over here, one of us is kind of over here, like using the rig. So kind of share the space.
What's capacity, do you think, in terms of numbers of providers you can have in this space?
I think we can have 3.
Yeah.
And especially with Candy, like, stay on top of schedule and making sure we don't have like 3 evals going on at the same time.
Right.
You know, as long as we stay on track of that, it goes well. Like Mason sees people on the 30, I see people on the hour. So both of us start most of our sessions in the room and move out here.
But this space here, what size is this room?
You know, shoot, it's not as big as it was supposed to be. I think it ended up at like 9.5 by 9.5.
Right.
They're supposed to be like 10 by 12, but with the build out, the bathrooms grew a little bit after we didn't pass ADA the first time. And so the treatment rooms ate some of that space.
Wow. So, okay. So you had a layout and then the bathroom wasn't big enough to be ADA compliant.
Yeah. It had something to do with like what's going on in the basement. When they drilled the toilet, it couldn't go exactly where the architect drew it. And so the toilet moved over a little, that messed up the ADA radius. The bathroom had to grow to absorb that and make sure you had everything to match ADA. And then these treatment rooms lost space.
Damn.
Our front office space lost like a foot too, but.
What are you guys using the most? Like out of everything here, if somebody is sort of brand new and they're like, man, I don't have, the resources for this. And maybe I'm not big enough to have my own standalone space, but like I want to start, like what equipment is it? I use this a ton.
We use kettlebells and dumbbells a ton.
Yeah.
So like you could get away from barbells, right?
Mm-hmm.
We treat a lot of barbell athletes, so we can't. Just because our CrossFitters want to know that they get snatching in, right? We're going to do it in the clinic.
Right.
With a lot of my older folks who are here to stay healthy and keep moving throughout their life, and I don't want to use a barbell, I actually use the safety squat bar a ton.
Yeah, I love the safety squat bar. Yeah.
Like a lot of my older guys can squat with that comfortably and get a lot of weight on their back, and they cannot get into a position with a barbell. It's just a real struggle for them. So that thing's fantastic. I actually use that with a lot of people. Or my athletes who their goal is not, like with my runners, we use a lot of safety squat bar because they get a good load on their body. They don't have to learn how to use a barbell, and they just like it. They're just getting a lot of load through my legs. I don't know how to figure this thing out that I don't know how to do.
Let's talk a little bit about some of this other equipment that you have. We see this a lot.
All right, this is a ton.
Man, Aim4, we're about to get Aim4 sponsorship. We
should
so much, but it makes so much sense in a small footprint. For spaces like this, or even if somebody's in a sublease space in their own office, and you can have some sort of like rotational tension. I mean, dude, this is great because other than that, I mean, you're getting a big like rack setup. whereas it's going to be like a free
You can get like 75 pounds on it. You can row it. Like most people, a 60-pound single arm row is going to be heavy for them. So you load it up.
Yeah, and you can do it in standing. You can do all kinds of different like lanes of movement training. I think these are awesome. How's the patient mix look for you? Is it how much of it is like you're solving a pain problem, physical therapy, and how much of it is now we're working on like performance and their long-term sort of, patients that are coming in for work like that?
Man, I would say it's about 50-50 as far as like patients coming in each and every day. Yeah, everyone starts with a pain problem. Right. So far, almost exclusively. I've got one guy we've been working with for a long time who came in with a balance problem. And it was his wife was getting personal training from somebody I had treated, and he was having balance issues, and she sent him this way. Yeah. And he's been a long-term client. He's got so much stronger. He's feeling better. He's being great.
Confident, probably.
Yeah, he came in with a cane. He's off that. We're doing like single weight plyos and stuff now. So he's like,
that's awesome.
He's like one of my favorite guys to work with. So yeah. And we work with a lot of people who we get them out of pain, and then we're trying to figure out performance after that, right?
Right.
So, or levels of performance they didn't get to because they're pain.
What do you feel like, Shift has done really well that, you would say, hey, if you have a clinic, in a model like this, you should really lean into this?
So right now it's communicating what the whole plan of care looks like at the beginning and throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, and it's actually, I think we're doing it well now because it's the thing I did the worst early on. I would be like session to session, trying to describe what the next week's going to look like, but not laying out the whole plan of care. And now I feel like I can, for one, it's experience. I know what the whole process is going to look like for them.
Yeah.
And so some of it's confidence on my end, but just like understand that's what people want. And you're like, hey, we're going to get you out of pain, doing some stuff that feels kind of easy at first. We'll challenge you where we can. And then by the end, you're going to really be challenging yourself, pushing yourself, do stuff that you couldn't do before. And then them understanding that that is part of our process. So when they get out of pain, but they're still coming to the clinic, there's no like, why am I still here? They're like, oh yeah, we're at the performance part. This is cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited about this.
What was the hardest hurdle for you to kind of get over? The thing that you just were like, man, I suck at this, and this is really holding me back?
Early on, it was selling plans of care. Yeah. And so like having confidence that I was going to get people the result that I was promising. And that just took reps and seeing people have good results and then being like, that guy actually avoided rotator cuff surgery. Like, I can't do this. When somebody comes in with a rotator cuff, I'm like, you're going to avoid surgery. You're not going to do this, And it's like getting to that point confidence wise was big for me. And that was a huge struggle early on, like the middle battle. And then I would say the mental battle of just getting to this point and being like, should I throw them down and do something easier or whatever, whatever I perceived as easier? Because there's always, you just have those perceptions of what other people are doing, Yeah. And I've got a lot of really successful friends that are doing great things, And so during that like past year where I was kind of stuck in my business, couldn't grow, I had friends who have grown businesses to, up to 6 figures and like getting to ground with fee. And that was frustrating to be like, I should be getting there too, And so, and not even just in like physical therapy world, like my close friends growing other kinds of stuff like that, So yeah, like the middle battle of getting through the hardest parts. Yeah. It's like a big part of it, But I feel like this has been the biggest practice in learning to trust God that I've ever had. And the biggest practice in learning to just like believe in myself, bet on myself. Yeah. And just like sit with that every day, like have those conversations with my wife, talking about how like we made this decision, we're going to like see this through. Yeah.
Well, this is a really cool space, man. I'm excited that you got in here and you can finally sort of like grow into what your vision is. And I'm curious, we always kind of want to end with wanting to learn what you're moving towards. Like, what does Shift look like to you, 3 to 5 years from now? Like, what's a home run for you?
Okay. So there's a few different avenues that we've talked about going. I think the next one is opening a larger space. So we'd probably go like 3,000 to 4,000 square feet. Yeah. The next one,
you totally should. For what you guys are trying to do, it makes complete sense, especially on the performance side. Like, you need more space.
Right. Yeah. So I think the next one's bigger. Yeah. We might keep this a 3-year lease, so we may keep this one at the same time. And Knoxville is kind of in pockets, so it may be at a different part of Knoxville, or surrounding area. And so we might have 2, right? And so right now, Mason, our PT, right now, I'd love to like grow him up to be the leader of another clinic. And I think he's got that mindset too. He's always asking like, what's next? What's the vision? Like he wants to know where we're going. Cool. And so like I see that in him. Hopefully that's where he wants to go and like lead another Shift Performance PT. And so I think the future is like in the next 5 years, another location that can have like 4 to 5 PTs, and then just sky's the limit beyond that. Right?
Yeah,
like
We really appreciate you showing us your space today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you like this one. Hope you enjoyed the story, of getting to this space. And if you're struggling with your clinic and running into problems like this, growth problems, whether it be because, you can't get the volume that you need, or you're just stuck in the logistics of trying to grow a space, hey, it's part of the process. You're going to learn from it. It's something that's going to be positive in the long run. So hope you enjoy this one. As always, thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.